Every time the prisoner took his medicine, he would sneakily spit it out when the guards weren't looking. Then he'd ask to go to the toilet, where he took out the antibiotics he'd bought with a huge sum of money. He tied one end of a stolen piece of string around the bottle and fastened the other end to one of his back molars. When everything was ready, the man immediately put the bottle into his mouth, then swallowed it down into his stomach without the slightest hesitation. After that, he took apart a lighter to get the flint inside and slid it under his fingernail to hide it. He bound his wrists with his shoelaces, then placed his thumb on the edge of the table. With a simultaneous push from his right foot and a pull from his wrists, his thumb twisted and dislocated instantly. The pain was excruciating, but this was his only chance to escape from prison. The man was a heavily guarded death row inmate, convicted of 2 murders. He'd thought he'd rot in jail for the rest of his life, but not long after, things took an unexpected turn. Captain John's son had developed leukemia. By a bizarre coincidence, the man was the only possible bone marrow donor match for him. Left with no other choice, John had to turn to the man, begging him to donate his bone marrow. What John never expected was that the man agreed without hesitation, on one condition. He wanted permission to smoke cigarettes in prison and unrestricted access to the prison library. John couldn't believe how simple the terms were and agreed on the spot. Little did he know, he'd already fallen right into the man's trap, because smoking wasn't the man's real goal. What he truly needed was the flint from the lighters, and going to the library was just a cover. His actual purpose was to steal a detailed structural map of the hospital. When all his preparations were complete, the man was escorted by countless guards to the hospital where John's son was being treated. But with his hands cuffed behind his back, there was no way to extract the bone marrow. As everyone else discussed what to do, the man had already quietly maneuvered the bottle of antibiotics into his mouth. Then, at the doctor's urgent insistence, the man had his handcuffs removed and was strapped to the hospital bed. An anesthetic was immediately administered. What no one realized was that the man had already crushed the bottle with his teeth, swallowing all the antibiotics inside. It wasn't long before the doctors noticed something was wrong. All vital signs indicated that the man hadn't fallen into an anesthetized state at all. Just as everyone was about to administer another dose of anesthesia, the man sprang into action.